Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, sweethearts?
It's good to nearly see you, to sort of see
It
you.
is to kind of
Virtually
to
see.
imagine seeing
Yeah,
you.
it's nice to imagine seeing you all.
Before when their names start coming up, it's
I
like,
know.
oh, they're here.
River!
There, River. Hello, darling. Oh, so good to be here with you.
So, here we are.
Here we are, aren't
Again,
we?
Kathy
Hi,
Kozak.
Kathy.
Hi,
And Alexa. Hi, sweetie. Oh,
So,
my.
What's everyone been up to?
Yeah, where have you been? Doing any traveling? Yeah, started going door to door, drawing caricatures of all the peoples in the town. Hello, everybody! Oh, here they come. Look
Here
at
they
you
all
guys.
are. Hello.
You're awesome.
Hello.
It's so good to see you.
Yay.
Ah.
You warm our cockles. So you do.
That's an Australian thing. It's not obscene. It just sounds obscene because...
I think it's Irish.
Ah, there you go.
Irish. Tell me if warming your cockles is Irish.
Oh, you tell me where my cockles are and I'll warm them.
I'll have to draw a diagram.
Ah, you guys.
The small talk doesn't come as easily
It
in the
does
plague
not
years,
come
does
as
it?
easily, does it? When all the books I read are like about in the wake of the plague is the one I'm reading now. Trying to figure out, just because it's light reading. We actually watched a movie about Ebola virus and it made us feel better. That's
She's
sick.
not kidding.
That's sick. But I have to tell you, I think I mentioned to you guys once before that Lawrence Gonzalez wrote this book called Deep Survival about people who get out of really gnarly situations where most people wouldn't hold it together. And the first thing he noted was that they have the ability to make gallows humor, dark humor. They can make fun of the danger itself. And so if you've gotten to that stage, if you haven't gotten to that stage, or if you're in a really painful place right now, so sorry if we made a tasteless joke. And there are going to be a lot of tasteless jokes before this thing is over, and a few of them might really save your bacon. Yeah. So we're up to a few people now.
I'll get out of here. You guys can enjoy Martha.
Yeah. So, where do you go when you can't go out? Well, as I see it, there's really only one place left. In. So that doesn't come easily for most people. Pascal, the great French philosopher, said, all of humanity's miseries come from the fact that we are unable to sit quietly alone in a room. And it's even harder to sit quietly alone in a room when the whole world seems to be falling apart. Interestingly, everything is always falling apart. That's called entropy, and it's always going on. It's just, wow, what a dramatic thing this is, right? I mean, as a sociologist or someone trained in sociology, it is horrifying and fascinating. And I'll tell you what I think in a minute. First, I just want to reach out to everybody and say, I am so sorry this is happening to you. I am sorry if you're confined. I am sorry if you have to go out to work. Not sorry like it's my fault, but deeply, deeply loving you and feeling pain on your account. I am so sorry if you're sick or if someone you love is sick. More and more people that I love are getting sick. And I am devastated if you've lost someone already in this ridiculous thing. Okay, so yeah, I told you I was going to say what I think. And I don't want to rain on your parade, which is going so well right now. But sociologically, I read one thing, an article that said I may have said this last week, we have the difficulty in politics similar to the end of the Nixon administration. We have economic upheaval similar to the Great Depression, and we have health problems similar to Spanish flu of 1918. But we have them all at once. Oh boy. Oh boy. It reminds me of a story that I heard Carolyn Mace tell once about a man. Have I told you this too? I feel like I've told you everything. This guy goes out And he has his own company, has this fabulous car. He drives to work for his beautiful wife, and he drives to work one day, and he goes in, and his partners kick him out of the company and say, "Here, we'll pay you in shares. We don't like you. Get lost." So he's lost his life's work. He goes home to tell his wife. His wife has left a note saying, "I'm sorry, I've left you." So he goes out to get in his car and go look for his wife, and someone has stolen his car. And at this point, he sits down on his steps and he says, "I smell God." Because really, only an all-powerful entity could mess up your life so completely all at the same time. And you may have been through times like these before. I actually think in Greek, there's a word kairos, which means time, but it's not time like the clock time. It's a time of shifting over from one thing to another. It's related to the word crisis, but it's about becoming. And when a whole bunch of things jam up in my life and everything goes wrong at once, that is when I smell God. And that is when I have ended up writing books about how glad I was that all those things came and found me and attacked me at the same time. Even though at the time I was a very, very unhappy person. So we can't go out, and we have to go in, and we have to sit at best in quiet rooms alone. At worst, we've got people around us who are hard to deal with, or little kids who are going stir crazy, trying to get out the door, and we can't let them go. And such times when there's total uncertainty, an enormous amount of fear, a lot of suffering, and isolation, those are the times when people wake up quite suddenly. And by wake up, I don't mean wake up and smell the coffee. I also don't mean wake up from an ordinary thing. I mean awaken, as in become enlightened. And I've been studying this I was on Facebook yesterday talking about this. My whole life I felt like I would be part of a transformation. Then I narrowed it down to a transformation of human consciousness that would end up saving the planet, basically our planet, our ecosystems. Then I got down about 5 years ago. I was like, oh, it's the transformation of consciousness is this thing called awakening. And when you go in deeply enough, and when you're in enough suffering, you sometimes spontaneously experience what people have, people like Byron Katie and Eckhart Tolle. These are examples in the current time, but this has happened all the way through history and all around the globe. So it's an abrupt, irreversible shift away from suffering and away from fear and into complete and absolute peace and love. I was lying on my bed meditating yesterday, and I thought so many people are alone right now. And I saw the word alone as if it was written in the air above me. And then the A-L pulled away and an extra L came in, and it said, all one. And I thought, yeah, we've all been forced to go into a room alone at the same time, where it's like something is trying to push a group awakening, which is what I've been waiting for my whole damn life. And I even knew about that. That's what I was waiting for, and wrote books about it, and wrote columns about it. And I always backed off a little, saying, because you're not supposed to say that you think people are going to be enlightened in this lifetime. It's hubris. It's not scientific. It's not, you don't say that in polite society, especially not like in New York or if you go to Harvard or whatever. And, yesterday I just thought, I'm over this. I'm over hiding it, that this is what we're meant to be doing in this time. We're meant to awaken, and all of us have been preparing. All of us have felt alone. We feel more alone than we've ever felt. But also, tell me where I'm wrong here, something in our hearts is pushing forward, saying, no, it's all one. We're all one. We're going to connect. This is the time. Everything has to be broken so that something new can grow. This is the time that humanity takes a whole new turn, transforms everything. So one of the books an article I read this morning was about the French Revolution. And it was talking about how nobody knew, nobody organized the French Revolution. Everything just fell apart. Like the rulership was bad, the economy fell apart, there were no regulations, no society was on all kinds of weird trajectories that didn't match each other, but people didn't have enough bread. The people didn't have bread, the people didn't have whatever it takes to have a nice, orderly society. But instead of retrenching to like the old feudalism of the past, what happened is that individuals became very, very important. Not all individuals did the same thing, but many individuals who would have been kept in a very confined space, mentally and sort of socially, everything was broken. So they stepped forward and they created a brilliant democracy that was so far, like the legal system leapt so far ahead in just embracing and accepting people and giving equality and putting love at the forefront. And they allowed adoption, and they allowed, it was all these different, these beautiful things that no one had been able to do before because the system was very tight and locked in. And we're already seeing some of this happening in the way the science is going with the coronavirus, because there are these protocols and they're slow, right? And some of them are biological and they have to be slow, but some of them are logistical and bureaucratic. And you know what? People are finding ways around those. Suddenly, science itself can jump out of the sort of bog of the old system and say, no, this is about learning. This is about truth. This is about healing. Let's go to what actually works instead of what we've always done. So individuals are absolutely crucial right now. And one individual who is awake spreads a wave of energy that can affect billions. I think of Byron Katie. I've talked about her. Some of you know of her. She's someone I really believe is fully awake. And she was just living in Barstow, California when she was suddenly enlightened. She was miserable, miserable, miserable. She was so unhappy that she had herself committed to an inpatient facility where they made her sleep in the attic because she was so raging and hysterical. They thought she might kill someone. So she was alone in an attic room. There it is, alone in the room. That's where we end up. Backs to the wall, all our nightmares coming straight at us. What do when your back is to the wall and your nightmares are coming straight at you? Well, she fell asleep and woke up with something just switched in her brain, same as Eckhart Tolle. But many other people have described similar processes throughout the centuries and in all different cultures. I think that this is actually an epigenetic process. So a gene switches on or off. I don't know whether the gene for suffering switches off or the gene for no suffering and all compassion switches on. I kind of think of it as switching on. And you never go back from it. It's really interesting. I was talking to my friend Liz Gilbert the other day, and she was saying she was traveling in India, and she never watches TV, but she happened to watch a story on someone else's TV when she was visiting about a woman who was lost in the jungle in Hawaii for like 17 days. She fell off a cliff. She broke her leg. She walked 40 miles on a broken leg. She lost her shoes. She had to cover herself in mud every night to stay warm and keep the mosquitoes away. And so she made it out. The helicopters came and got her. Well, Liz saw this story and remembered it, and then was in India at an ashram where only 70 people were there to convene for this thing. And one of them was this woman that she recognized from TV. And she said this woman was shining. And she said, she went up and talked to her. They conversed, and she said, how are you like this? You're so full of joy. And the woman said, I got to the point where everything was so bad that I closed my eyes and I said this prayer that when I opened my eyes, my fear would be gone. And she said, I opened my eyes and it happened. All fear was gone. And she was in complete and euphoria. She saw the trees as having consciousness. She saw the rocks as having consciousness. Everything felt conscious. And she said, I was in so much bliss that when the helicopters came, I was a little disappointed. So that's an example that I've heard recently, and I believe, of someone waking up while they're still awake, like not falling asleep at night and waking up in the morning enlightened. But this suffering is very important. We have to, like, the old systems, they're not just in the world, they're in our minds as well. The world is a reflection of our minds. And, have you gotten to that point, you guys? I'm at this point where it's like, oh, yeah, this is not a holiday. This is us. Like, this is us now. And again, sociologically, I always knew we'd never go back to the way it was before. But it's like, oh, yeah, shelter in place for at least a month longer. Or really, the science says probably another month after that. Maybe more. I mean, it's like, okay, I have now been pushed to the point of maximum fear. Fear about health, fear about loss of loved ones, fear about loss of income, fear about loss of everything. And that is the perfect time to surrender to what's happening and to go in and see what's in there beneath all the fear. So I want to do a little exercise with you. I did it this week. It worked for me. You can close your eyes unless you don't want to. I did for this. What I want you to feel all your fear, all your anger at what's happened, all your sorrow, terrible sorrow. And I want you to feel that as if it's a suit of clay that you're wearing. But the interesting thing about this suit of clay is that if you go into it and you get small enough, the world becomes infinitely small. You can go into infinite smallness, just like the universe can go into infinite hugeness. So what you're going to do is you're going to dive down through that suit of clay. You're going to find your way. You're going to go in. And as you go in, everything that is small opens up. So you're going into this thing and it just keeps expanding. And then you see this tiny pinpoint, like a needle prick of light. Pure light. And you go toward it. And things are getting smaller and they're getting smaller and they're getting smaller. And the light gets bigger and it gets bigger and it gets bigger until it's all around you. And then whoosh, you're into it. You're into this light. Take a deep breath. This is like being in the womb where you breathed amniotic fluid. This light, this water, it's water, sorry. For me, it was water, but it was light water. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a liquid light. And breathing it feels like you're breathing clear air, your native air for the first time in your life. Like your lungs are so blessed by the breath of this. And boy, do we think about the breath these days, right, guys? So in you go, and then you look up, and your entry into this well of light has pushed the level up, and it's now flowing over the top of the suit of clay, and it's flowing into the world through you. And you just stay in this place of warmth and love and safety and sweetness, and the light just keeps emanating, and it pours out over the edges of you, and it runs through the whole world. And wherever it flows, there's just a little film of it, but all of us are doing this at once, right? Alone, all one. Everywhere this goes, it's like water. It finds its way to the lowest places. And everywhere there's someone whose life has been battered by this, whose psyche and heart has been battered by this. Those people are not flinty. They're more like, they're more porous. They've had themselves knocked around a bit. And because of that, through capillary action, the light starts to seep into their feet. And it starts to go up their legs. And you can just, and it finds patients in beds, and it goes up through their backs. And everyone who feels it has this pure breath in their hearts and souls, if not in their actual lungs. Some people, the doctors and nurses rushing to help the sick, don't know it's already seeping up their legs to their knees. It's already on its way to heal them because they're so busy being love in action. But it's coming. It's coming for them. And it will reach them. It will reach every heart. I did this exercise, and then I thought, okay, now become the light and say what it's doing. And in that moment, I switched away from all the fear and all the sorrow and all the anger into this ridiculous amount of joy. It's just inexpressible joy. I wish I could hold that all the time, but it's enough that I can touch it. And we can all touch it. We can use visualizations like this. We can go in. We can't go out. Go in deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. I guarantee that wherever there is life, that point of light is at its center. And if you just go in with a human mind, you can reach it, and you can then send it to the rest of the world. And if we do that as one, just think how much light is going to cover the surface of this planet. So I'm going to ask the illustrious Badger to come back in. Illustrious Badger. She has been promoted to illustrious Badger on account of nobody can come to the house, so who's going to tell us no?
If I'm ever less than illustrious, we won't tell anyone.
We won't tell.
Sorry, we're squeaking.
We're squeaking.
Okay, Jessica had some great questions.
Oh, good.
Some people have been asking about the awakening process and identity, and if you have spent time trying to figure out what your identity is in this life, is that going to be erased?
Yes.
And the next question.
Once I heard Byron Katie once just say to herself in this musing way, they think they want to be enlightened because they think it'll give them everything, but in fact it takes everything away. But here's the thing. It's like I said in my new book that will come out in 2021. Enlightenment will give you every kind of joy, support, blessing, love, happiness you could ever need, but it will cost you everything else. It will cost you all your fear. It will cost you all your pain. You will have to be a traitor to suffering. You will have to leave it behind. And most of our psyches are made of suffering and fear. So one thing that I have found is that when I do touch that place of love, and this is actually the neuroscience shows that when they have Tibetan lamas meditating and going to that place, at the moment they get to that space, two areas of the brain shut down. The first is the area that makes you feel like you have a sense of control over anything. And the second is the feeling that you are a separate self divided from the rest of the world. Those two things leave. Boom. No self, no control. It sounds like hell to the ego, because the ego is all about self-control. And self-control. It's just all about control and self. That part goes away, and guess what? You will not miss it. You will not miss it. But yeah, it's got to go.
Alexa is asking, how can I keep my fear in check when at work? Now, I know Alexa has an essential job. I'm not sure if it's a frontline worker or not.
Yeah, everybody who's doing an essential job is on the front lines, you know. And what I would say is try this exercise that I've been doing. I did it with a client for Oprah magazine, and then my editor wrote to me and said, could you write that down for everybody? But don't make it too much the same. So I wrote something similar, and she said, no, actually, I want it to be the same. So here it is. Here's your fear self. Think of it as a wild animal, like a wolf or a lion, a dangerous wild animal, but also, you know, wolves and lions are very pack-oriented. And it's afraid for you. Your wild animal is afraid for you. And what you need to do is say to it, I need you to step to one side and walk beside me. You can walk beside me to keep me safe. Like you can remind me if I haven't washed my hands, and I should, that kind of thing. But you will not be driving from here on. You go out, I'm going to bring in my wisest self. So my true self, my essential self is wise, and it has no fear. So let it be the beast master. Let it have a lion or wolf that walks beside it, and visualize that very carefully. And then, you know, there are times when it'll come up and get you. And if you go in enough, you can get past that. It's horrible, but it's a reiterative process that erodes your ego until it finally shatters. So in the end, it's all a blessing anyway. But I'm sorry, it sucks. It really sucks.
Okay, Emily was saying that when the parks closed, that was a huge hit for her. She said, I'm home in the forest and now I can't go. How do I turn in now?
Yeah, I actually had a thing where my foot got hurt. So I can't go into my beloved forest, right? I can't go walking. And I thought, I smell God. And what I realized is there's a forest, all the forests of the world I can access through my mind. One simple remedy is to go on YouTube and find like a 10-hour thing of forest in the rain sounds and play those. It's very, very soothing. That's a nice thing. Open windows. It's good to get rid of viruses and it gives you fresh air and the pheromones from the trees. But if you're not being allowed to walk even among the trees, then go to the forest inside you. Go to the wild space inside you. The thing is, all these animals live in the forest. Humans are the only animals, so far as we know, who can imagine forests. And we do know, for example, imagining that we're going to get sick and die or lose a loved one is almost as terrifying to our bodies as if there was actually a threat in the room, as if somebody was actually pulling a gun on us. We can imagine that and make it so real that our whole biology responds to it. And the same thing can happen if you imagine Narnia, Nirvana, Eden, the most beautiful place you imagine. And you walk through those trees and you smell the air, and it doesn't matter where you are. I've done this on planes, I've done this on subways. And get lost in the forest inside yourself. It goes infinitely deep, infinitely deep. Somewhere in there, someone's holding a light. And you'll see it through the trees, and it's just another form of the same visualization I was just using. Go walking in the trees in your imagination. Imagination makes things real.
Perfect. How do we maintain staying inward when in a home with many agitated people?
Turning up the volume on enlightenment. Try to get a corner where you can go. And it helps if you have slightly staggered sleeping schedules. So, for example, if you're a night person, you stay up half an hour later than other people. If you're a morning person, you get up half an hour early. But I've done inward meditations at big sporting events, in massive shoving crowds in Japan in the subway. And even when, like on those subways, they actually push you in very politely. And sometimes it would get so crowded that I'd be lifted off my feet, like pressed between other people's bodies. And I could barely expand my lungs, again, the breathing thing. And what I learned is it's a perfect time to do a long exhale. That tells your body, okay, there's lots of carbon dioxide in my brain. No, everything's okay, even though it isn't. So there's fear and agitation, and then you do something really interesting. You become profoundly selfish. If you imagine yourself as having tentacles of light that connect you with all the people you're trying to care for, and their anxieties coming through those same tentacles and affecting you, one by one, while people are running through the house screaming, you pull off a tentacle. You don't give it to them anymore. You plug it into yourself. You pull a tentacle off someone else, plug it into yourself. Pull a tentacle, plug it in. One of the things that I've realized in this last couple of weeks, it's just become so clear. My job is to take care of my body because I'm not a healthcare worker. My job is to reach out to people psychologically, spiritually, intellectually, but I've only got one body to take care of. And if I try to plug into too many other people, if I think I can save them by magic, the imagination has its limits. If I'm getting drained, pull the care off other people and plug it into myself. And I started doing that, and I became so much more available for other people because I started to feel healthy again. And I hadn't been feeling so healthy because of the stress and sleeplessness or whatever. But I literally I have that visualization of pulling the tentacles and putting it back in. And then you get to something that in some meditation traditions is called relaxation pleasure. It's a very awkward translation. But I'd like you to do it at the end of our time here. Sit lying down somewhere. Draw a little bit. Just a little, not attention feel that loosening that muscle, strongest muscle, has a feeling of pleasure associated with it. Put all your attention on that sense of pleasure, even if your leg is broken, even if there are horrors going on in the world. All your attention is on the pleasure of your jaw opening, and then it spreads to the rest of your face, and let your face relax, and there's pleasure in the relaxing of the muscles, and then feel it go over your head, and it's pleasant, and it's like the force is giving you this very delicate massage. And then go to your shoulders and the sides of your neck, and let them drop down, and feel the pleasure of just letting them go. Oh, and let that run down your arms into your hands. Then come up to your throat and just let it go. And feel your chest just relax. And the key here is to focus on the pleasure. Even if there's also pain, your attention can go to the pleasure. So that exercise is how I've been unplugging from other people and plugging into myself. And it has made me so much stronger. It has made me so much more compassionate. I would never have looked to selfishness to be the key to each of us healing as individuals, so that we can wake up and create a transformed society, because our consciousness has been transformed. So we're kind of over time. I apologize if this was a little meandery. We're all sort of flying blind in the plague.
That's right. And Claire, to your question, yes, you should be able to watch it as soon as this is over. It'll be available on Martha's Facebook
What
page.
did Claire ask?
Can she watch it again?
Oh, yeah. And you could also watch the webinar that we did on this.
Yep.
Or you could come to, I'm doing a course, and it's called Practical Wayfinding, but if I had it to redo, I would say awaken. Locked in, then wake up, because that's what we're going to be doing, and it starts in April. This
Registration's open until April 14th. There's a link in our little...
So if you want like an organized course with everything I've got behind it, you can go there too.
It's right for this time, you guys.
It is made for this time, and practiced for 50 some years before that. Mwah! I love you guys more than ever. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the absolute best. Mwah,
Take good care, guys.
Stay well, sweeties. Stay well.